Hello everybody, I hope you're doing well and welcome to the platform of CodeChef. So today we're going to be solving the problem Chef and Easy Queries. The difficulty level for this problem is simple and the prerequisites are your basic mathematics. So this is your educator Ansh and I hope you like my video. Let's proceed to the problem statement. Okay, let's try to understand the problem statement. So Chef published the blog post and now is receiving many queries about it. On day I, he receives QI queries. But Chef can answer at most K queries in a single day. Chef always answers the maximum number of questions that he can on any given day. The remaining questions will be carried over to the next day. Fortunately, after n days, the queries have stopped. Chef would like to know the first day during which he has some free time, i.e., the first day when he answered less than k questions. Okay, so let me summarize the entire problem statement for y'all. So basically, Chef has given on n days, and on each particular day, I'm given my Q1 queries. So Q1, Q2, Q3, up till so on my Qn. Now, Chef is a human and he can solve only k queries on a single day, right? So assume if my Q1 was greater than k, obviously Chef was only able to solve k queries and there will be some queries left out of the Q1 day. And then, as those queries are left, they will move on to the next day. And so on, the question is asking, what is the first day where Chef has some free time? That means what is the first day when he answered less than k questions? So that is what the question is asking. So let me demonstrate you the questions asking using this particular example test case. So here I have my 6 queries, which is 10, 5, 5, 3, 2, 1. So let us process one by one. Currently, Steph has 0 questions, like initially before it has 0 questions, right? On the first day, he received 10 queries. So 10 queries, he was able to solve here my k is equals to 5. So out of 10 queries, he was able to solve 5 and 5 were handed on for the next day, right? Then on the second day, he received 5 queries. So 5 plus 5, which again amounts to 10, and Chef was able to solve 5 queries on that particular day. Again, his queries set down to 5. Then on the third day, he again received 5 queries. So again, my total becomes 10, but he was able to solve 5. So again, 5 queries are left. Then he received 3 queries. So 5 queries were left. So 8 queries became total. And then he was able to solve 5. So 3 queries remain. Then he was able to solve 2 queries. So 2 queries, 3 queries already remain. 2 queries joined in. So again 5 queries. And then he solved all 5 of them and got to 0. And on this day, he received 1 query, and on the one query, he was able to solve this query, and again turned out to be 0. So as you can see, every day, Chef solved 5 query, here also 5 query, here also 5 query, here also 5 queries, here also 5 queries. But on this day, he solved 1 query. So this is what the question is asking. So which is the day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So sixth day, Chef answered 1 query. That is the first day when he answered less than k questions, so in this case k was 5. So every day he answered 5 questions except the sixth day where he answered the one question only. So this becomes my required answer, right? Now let us see the second test case. Here I am a one day, like one query, and I have Chef solves one question per day. And then I have my 100 questions or 100 queries. So obviously Chef will take 100 days to solve all the 100 queries. On on the 101st day, time will come when Chef has to answer 0 queries, and that will become the first day when he answered less than k questions. In this case, my k is 1. So the first day at which the chef answered less than one questions is the 0th day. And yeah, this what the problem statement is saying. Now let us see how we can solve this particular problem. Okay, now how will we approach this particular problem? Approach to this problem is simple. What we can do is every time do we iterate, we keep a counter. So let's say my current queries is initially 0. Then what we do, we go to Q1 and we add Q1 in our current queries. So we'll add Qi for any general I in our queries. And then what we can do is that once we get that we know my k questions are gonna solve on a particular day. So out of my current present questions, I'll try to solve my k questions. And then if my current questions on that particular day, so say my current questions is less than k questions, that means it satisfies this particular condition where the first day when he answered less than k questions. So every day, if my current is greater than k questions, then greater than equal to, then obviously chef has to answer k queries per day. But if any particular time my current becomes less than k questions, then that particular thing is the answer. And if throughout the journey, as you can see in the second test case, throughout the journey after 100 days, it still doesn't equal. So on the next day, when he answered 0 questions, on the 101st day, that will become the answer. So the approach for this problem is quite simple. As you traverse in the queries, you keep a counter of the queries and add the particular counter to your current variable, and then you keep on checking current with the k. What was the first day when my current was less than k, right? And that becomes your answer. So this is the idea to approach this particular problem. You will get a more clear understanding when you see the coding part of this particular problem. So yeah, let me show you the coding part. Okay, now let us try to understand the code for the following problem. So here, firstly I included all my header files necessary. Then in my main function, for each test case I started taking input. My n and k I took input according to the input format, and I initialized some of my variables r and c as 0. So basically R is nothing but our variable current that I discussed in my approach section, and C will be nothing but the first day at which the condition is violated, or at which the person answered less than k questions or queries, right? Then I initialized my vector of length n, and then I took input according to the input format for the following vector. Then, as we discussed in the approach section, firstly we can increment the queries on that particular day. So basically we increment current with those particular queries, and then what we try to do is we subtract or we try to solve k queries on that particular day. If any day my r is less than 0, that means on that particular day my k value was greater than my r value, right? Because a negative number. And as you know that while that is the condition that we're looking for, that what is the first day at which the person answers less than k questions. So yeah, you try to take the current and you subtract r from it. If any instance my current becomes less than 0, then I simply initialize my c or the answer of the first day as I plus 1. Meaning on that particular day, my first time the condition was violated, or on the first time the person answered less than k questions. And then I simply break the loop because I got my answer. So basically, if c equals to 0, that means it didn't ever satisfy this particular condition, and then we can simply get our answer by taking the requested value and adding it with n, right? So basically just normal arithmetic operations, because in that particular case your condition never got violated for k, or that means in that particular day your questions never became less than k. On every day he was answering k questions minimum. So your answer becomes quite simple. Your answer simply becomes r divided by k, r being the total number of queries and k being query answered per day. So you can just simply get that particular answer and you can add it with n to get your answer, right? So yeah, this is the doing if your condition was never satisfied in that particular case. Otherwise, you can simply print out C, because if this condition broke, like if this particular condition in the if else statement was satisfied for r equals to 0, then we can simply print out C. So yeah, this becomes our code to solve this particular problem. Now let us run our code on the sample test cases to understand whether everything is working correctly or not. Okay, so as you can see, we got the correct answer for the following test case. Now let us submit our code on the actual test cases to understand whether everything is working correctly or not. Okay, so as you can see, we got the correct answer for the following problem, and yes, this becomes a valid approach to solve this particular problem. Now let me show you one of the codes where normally people can make mistakes. So here I have a sample code with me. So here the person directly tried to solve this particular problem and did not consider such a condition where you have to break the loop if your condition satisfies for that particular question. So yeah, this was a direct way of solving, and this is too basic to way. So that is why the person got the wrong answer verdict, because he didn't include the necessary conditions required to solve in this particular problem. So yeah, one should keep in mind that the approach and the observation should be quite clear before writing the code. That is the learning you get from this video. I hope you like my video. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.